Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for watching, liking, subscribing. Really appreciate your being a part of our channel, giving us a thumbs up if you can, if you like the content, and subscribing if you're good with that. We really appreciate that as well. What we're going to do today in this video is we're going to remove the evap system on my 2021 Continental GT650. Now, the evap system is a system that is supposed to reduce emissions. What it does is any fuel vapors that are created in the tank from heat or whatever come up, pass in through the cap, they say, and there's a fuel or a line that goes down from the tank down to the charcoal canister located just above the center stand mount. I'll get that to you. I'll show that to you later. But anyways, what that does is any fuel vapors go up, get sucked down into the charcoal canister, and then there's a purge valve. And what that purge valve does is every so often it opens up, and your intake for your bike on each side of the your intakes, the lines here, what they do is they suck the unburned gasoline fumes from the charcoal canister up and in and through the engine. So basically the system is designed to make it a closed system, so no fuel vapors end up escaping and out into the atmosphere, causing greenhouse gases and to the detriment of the world. But really, it's just a itty bitty teeny weeny amount of fuel vapors. And I've heard more often than not, these charcoal systems can cause issues with your bike. Because if you overfill your bike, which I unfortunately have a tendency to do, not overfill as in gushing out, but I fill it to the top in order to try and get the most range out of the bike that I can. And I didn't realize that I was probably screwing up my charcoal canister, because what happens is if you overfill your bike or fill it to the rim, then any excess fuel goes into that line and then goes down and accumulates down in the charcoal canister to just sit there as raw fuel, which can then have issues with your bike running, because you may suck some raw fuel back up into the system where it's not properly metered and just spit into the engine. So with that in mind, and I have heard of other people with systems on their bikes where if they remove the evap system, the bike runs a lot better and a lot smoother. So basically that's what I'm going to do, is remove that system. And like I say, it's not really that much that goes into the atmosphere. There's kits available to remove this system that you can buy. They come with a little plug with a resistor in it to fool the ECU. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the purge valve in place, just plug it on each end, leave it connected to the electrical system, so it doesn't really, it's not going to do anything, but the ECU will still think that the purge valve is doing its thing, so you won't get any codes. Basically though, that's it in a nutshell. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. Firstly though, I'm going to remove both side covers, seat and tank, and if we have to, the inner fender as well. But I'll just sort of work through this, and as we go along, I'll bring you guys in and say what I'm doing. The other thing is, as well as the sprocket cover on the left side, we'll be removing that as well. So what I'm going to do first off is I'll bring you guys back in, but going to remove the seat, side covers, and tank, and then we'll be right back with you. All right, so I've got the side covers, seat, tank. I also removed the mounting bracket or holder for the toolkit off of the left-hand side, just in case we have. I need to access the lines on this side. It sits right here over top of the battery, so I've taken that off. Now on to the other side, to the left-hand side of the bike, I'm going to remove the sprocket cover here. I've got that loosened already, so I'm going to pop that off to hopefully give me access to the purge valve. As you can see up top here, these are the two lines, two vinyl or rubber lines that plug into the tank. The right-hand one, side one, this is the one that goes directly to the charcoal canister and is part of the evap system. This left-hand one is just a drain. You'll notice there's a hole in the top of your gas tank. A little bit of spoiled or spilled gas or whatever can just flow into that hole, out and then down to the ground. This one goes, like say, to the charcoal canister. I'm going to leave this one just disconnected and hanging out down there. If something does go into it, it'll just go off into the atmosphere down below the bike. So I don't want to leave this unhooked up, because otherwise you'll have potentially gas coming out of the tank and just draining into the top of the engine here. So we don't want that. So we're going to leave this one here. So I'm just going to pop off the sprocket cover and then have a look, see. Hopefully this is going to give us more access to everything. So just bear with me and come on along for the ride, because like I say, I'm just figuring this out as I go along. Okay, so we got the sprocket cover off and the shift lever. It's just an 8mm bolt in the shift lever. I'll clean those up before I reinstall them. But we'll see now what kind of access we have. So let's see here now. The Purge valve is right there. So I think we'll be able to get the lines off of it. Okay, so I'm looking at everything that we got to do here, and it looks as though, because that Purge guy is right in there, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the battery, this little bracket here, slide the battery out, and then possibly remove the battery tray as well, and see if that's going to give us the access that we need to remove the Purge, the evap system. But I will be right back with you guys. Okay, so got the battery out. The battery tray, I've taken off the two lower battery tray bolts, 10 mils, and as well on the inner fender, so I've taken off those bolts. And now if we move over to the other side, we're getting closer, but I've taken my flasher relay and my other two relays just off of the holder, and there's another bolt down here, taking that off. So we now have the battery tray ready to, it's loose at least, I can move it out. Now might be a time, if you've heard or read about greasy relays, now would be a time you could check your relays if you like. There's mine. That's as they come from the factory. I haven't cleaned any of the grease off or anything else. I know a lot of people have had problems with this dielectric grease gumming up their relays and causing issues, but I haven't cleaned mine off yet. I might actually, I'll probably take a paper towel and wipe some of that off before I reassemble it, but so far so good. I've never had any problems with these relays. So again, a little overzealous application of grease in India, but anyways, back to the job at hand. So now all I've got to do is take this clip here. I'm going to push that down so that I can pull this one-way holder, and I should be able to lift the battery tray out, maybe. The Purge valve is still barely visible, but right underneath here. So I might have to access from the other side, but I'm going to keep working on it, and then I'll bring you back in when I figure out what I'm doing right or wrong. Be right back. All right, so this is the solenoid for the starter there, and if you look down in here, you can see it says Bosch on it. That is the Purge valve. So I'm going to leave it in place, as I've said. So all right, I'm going to leave the purge valve for the time being, and let's start from the charcoal canister first. Got a 10 mil bolt. Just going to pop this off, and this has the retainer for the charcoal canister. Set that down. Pop these lines off. Okay, well, the canisters wants to come out, so it's interesting because on the manual it says that this line is a dummy line and to not hook it up, but I see that it's hooked up, so I'm not exactly sure where it goes to the purge. So I'm just gonna, there's one. Note to self, pull the lines off before you disconnect the bracket holding the charcoal canister. There, two. One more to go. There we go. Now, something I just noticed actually. Yeah. If you look here, see that down there? That's gas. So, this charcoal canister is already buggered. As you can see here, it says tank, purge on it, and then Delphi, whatever that is. But so this charcoal canister is not doing its job anyways because it's got tons of gas, probably as a result of me filling the bike up too much, trying to squeeze those extra miles out. So that's one of the things that we're taking off. So that's gone. Now we're going to have to try and follow these lines up. So there's Delphi line, I don't know what the hell this is. It goes there. Goes here. Oh, that's just some sort of a vent up to the top. This third line is a vent that just goes up to the top. So I'm just going to take that out because we don't need it anymore. So again, that guy was on there. The other one is the one that comes off the tank, which is this one here. Right side guy. We're going to leave that hanging now. Now the other one is the one that goes to the purge valve, which is right here. So I can see the purge valve moving up there. Just going to set this charcoal canister to the side. There's your regulator rectifier. One thing that a positive aspect of this is that not having the charcoal canister here hopefully will allow a little more airflow to the regulator rectifier and keep it from overheating. But back to the job at hand. Now we got to get that other line out. Oh, there we go. So if you look from up here, just right in there, you can see the purge valve. See it moving there? That's the purge valve itself. I'm just going to hang on. I'm going to try and get my hand in there and pull it up over here. And we'll flop it back down there when we're done with it. It can continue living under the battery. Yes. This is a challenging little bugger. Okay. Come. Oh. You got to be a bit of a contortionist here. But okay, there's the line. Now, this line is going where? This line smells like gas. That's not the one we're looking for, I don't think. No. Okay, so this is the one that's going up top. This one here is the line that's going up top and then going to be sucked into the engine, which we'll follow up and remove in a bit. It's probably one of these guys. But for sure that's this one here. Yep, okay. That line is the one that goes up and feeds into the engine. The other one, which we're going to get next, I just got to grab a Now, if I had the kit that you can use to remove the purge valve, you'd just plug in a plug into this electrical connector, remove the purge valve totally. But like I say, I'm going to leave the purge valve there. So I'm going to get some pliers now, take this off, and then follow the line up. I'll show you where we're going with that, and then put it all back together, which should be challenging. But anyways, we'll be right back. Okay, so I just popped the electrical connector on this purge valve so I can get it out. So we'll just move that one. So I would guess that, yeah, so this is sucking from the charcoal canister into the purge valve, and it goes up. So I'm just going to move this off, I hope. Loosen it off. There we go. Okay. That goes over. Okay, so I don't have any plugs that fit the purge valve, and like I say, I want to reinstall the purge valve so that the ECU thinks that it's still there working. So I'm just going to cover it up with some electrical tape, just in the off chance, for whatever reason. I don't know why, because I'll never use it again, I'm sure, but I'm just going to tape this up. Of course, it doesn't help to have dirty hands. This will be just as good as a plug. All we want to do is just keep crap out of there. One over the top like that. Then a couple wraps. And we're good to go. It's not going to go anywhere. Anyways, so, okay. Before I put it all back together, let's just follow this up. So here's our purge line on this side. You can see here, that's the one that came out. So now we're going to take it up, feed it out. I don't want to lose that guy, so I'll probably put some tape there just to keep that guy there so we don't lose him, but I'll do that in a bit. So as you can tell, purge line comes up, goes over to the engine here, T's in, and then from each T it goes there to the throttle bodies, and onto this side, throttle body. So just disconnected that. Now, it's out. Now, let's see if we can just... That's the center T. There we go. Just on the side. And again, that's how that was coming from the purge valve into the throttle bodies. So that'll go into the box of Enfield stuff. I did order up these plugs. I'll put a link in the bottom. I think they're 3.7 mils. I just took a quick measurement off of the nipples on the throttle bodies, and these plugs will just slip right on there. Like I say, I'll put a link at the bottom, just so we don't have any, of course, vacuum leakage. So that goes on like so. So I think a package of the 5 was like $1.50 or something. Anyways, so that's your evap system, charcoal canister. Now, of course, the hard part is going to be putting it all back together. So I'm going to start on this, and I will bring you guys back in, depending on what difficulties I have putting it back together again. So, anyways, stay tuned. All right, filming? Okay. All right, so here's the purge valve. Here's our electrical connector. Goes like so. So we're just going to plug that guy back in there. Like, listen for it. There we go. Okay. Now, this slot here has to go on to this little mounting spot back over there. So, it's going to manipulate this almost all the way on. I've just got to... There we go. So, that's mounted on there, as it should be. Now, this rubber goes up here, and as well as here, and then this first. The bottom one seems to want to go on easier, so we'll try that. Okay. Bottom's on. Top's on, bottom's on. Now, bring it down and push through from this side. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we've got the solenoid in there. Got the purge valve in there. Now, go put some bolts back in. So I've got all these 10 mils here, and some 10 mil bolts up the back fender. So I'm just going to... Yeah. Okay, that was up over here. Okay, so I'm just going to start putting some 10 mils back in, and I'll be right back with you. All right, so it's going back together slowly. I've got the inner fender in. The other side of the battery box is on, so now I'm just going to clean off some of this grease. I've got some more dielectric grease to put on if I need to, but I think what I'm going to do is just clean it off the terminals. As you can see, there's quite a bit still in the actual sockets, so I'm just going to clean it off a bit here and then reinstall it. I'll try and wipe off as much grease as I can from the outs, or from the plug itself and from the outside of the plug here. But as you can see, there is quite a bit there, so that's more than sufficient to keep any water, make sure they make a good contact. So I know a lot of people on the forums have replaced these with either Panasonic or Bosch relays, and one day I might do that, but for the time being they're working fine. I haven't had any problems, so I'm not going to bother with it right now. But yeah. Anyways, we'll keep putting it back together and bring you guys back in again. Okay, so now we're ready to put the battery in. One thing that I've noticed that when you're installing your battery, tip is that there is this one wire here that attaches over on the other side. But if you disconnect it from the loom here, then that allows you to see this little guy here attaches there. If you disconnect it, it allows you to pull this negative terminal further over to the outside, then allowing you to attach your battery a lot easier than if you're trying to reach in there. So another thing that I do is I stick a little cable tie underneath the nut in the bottom of the battery, because there's nothing worse on these bikes, and bikes in general, is trying to get the bolt to grab onto the nut on your terminal. It's just a pain in the ass. But anyways, so I stick a zap strap underneath it to allow it. This is my battery tender for the winter. But anyways, let's get this on. Get the battery installed and fire it up, hopefully. Cinch her down. Nice and snug. Slide it back in. Make sure that you remember to attach the negative line that disconnected on the other side there to gain more room. Just gonna again do the same thing with a zap strap here, just to some threads there. I think so. Okay, so that can come out. And down. Battery strap is here. Slide that battery in. Now we've got the all right, so got the battery back installed, the tool carrier on this side, that's all in there. Don't forget your seat latch, that's on there. Relays all reinstalled, everything's back. Okay, so there we have it. This is all the takeoff stuff. I'm just going to flash it up right now and see here. See if we get any codes. We shouldn't. No. Nope, no codes. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. One thing I'll point out is that you don't have to do is you don't have to take off the sprocket cover. I saw online somebody said that to take off the sprocket cover is a good idea, but it really doesn't make any difference. You can do most of what you need to do from the right-hand side of the bunk. Tipping the battery tray up, I think, and removing the battery seemed to give me enough room to get in there and do it. I think other people have gone in from the back. You could probably try that as well. But loosening the fender and just pushing it forward and moving the battery tray seemed to work for me. So again, like I say, this is got gas, or I shook gas out of it before. I think it's still coming out. I think a lot of it's probably evaporated out. But this was buggered anyways, because as soon as it gets gas in it, it doesn't function properly. So to any of the tree hugging environmentalists out there saying that I'm ruining the world, well, the emissions out of the Enfield are nothing compared to everyday stuff that happens. And if you've ever been to India, and we have, there's pollution everywhere there. So if somebody wants to comment from India, just confirm that it's the truth. But so yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about removing this. It's a bit of weight as well, but other than that, no engine codes that we have, so should be good, and we'll see how it runs. I'll take it for a ride, and I'll comment down below, and if there's any issues, I'll let you guys know, but I don't expect any issues. But yeah, that's how to remove your evap system. I did look online earlier on to find videos of people that have taken their evap systems off, but all you end up seeing is the end result of the evap system off rather than how they got there. So hopefully I'll shed some light on that, and you guys can learn from it, and if you decide to do this, then go right ahead. But yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you could. We appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back with some more videos as soon as we can. Thanks again, guys. Keep the rubber side down.